Adopt a Child is an overseas child sponsorship programme, including nutritious meals, medical and dental care, pastoral care and Bible teaching. You're encouraged to get to know your sponsor child through correspondence back and forth and are sent annual updates about your child and their family. Recently, the programme is expanded so that not just children, but adults with special needs and older people in need can be sponsored. I'm Dawn Ritchie, and after hearing about Adopt a Child about 10 years ago, when Peter and Sue Barton came to our church, Emmanuel on the Wirral, we became sponsors, fell in love with this charity, and it's changed the trajectory of our lives. Going there, done that, got the t-shirt. I'm chatting here today with my friend Janis Wilby. Janis is the Adopt a Child UK and Ireland National Coordinator, based in the office in beautiful Inverness. She fulfills this role with excellence, with energy and passion. We thought it would be good to get an update on what's happening with our favourite charity as we navigate 2020, the strangest year in our history. Janis, hello.
Hi Dawn, it's lovely to be here with you this afternoon, although not in person, albeit virtually, but it's great to see you and Pete, and look forward to chatting with you.
Oh, that's great. So I've just got a few questions for you, if that's okay.
Bring it on, yeah.
We always pray for the office girls, all you girls in the office there in Inverness. So how are you all?
Well, we're all doing well, thank you, Dawn, and we really appreciate your prayers. It's a challenging time, isn't it, for everybody? So we all face the same challenges as everybody else in our families, churches, with restrictions, not being able to visit people and meet together. But on the whole, we're all doing very well, thank you.
Oh, that's great. And how are you finding your work in this very weird year?
Well, yes, I think everybody's adapted really well to working from home. We were all psyched up for 12 weeks of working from home when we closed the office, and now it's 7 months and we're still all working from home. So to be honest, I miss the office banter and the human contact with people very much. But having said that, everybody's really adapted well and we are all beavering away, yeah.
Oh, fantastic. So while we're all grounded, Adopt a Child is obviously still running. What has the response from the supporters been like?
Well, we're really blessed, Dawn, because God is faithful, isn't he? And our sponsors are really faithful too. And most of our sponsors have stuck with us throughout the year, continuing to support their children and our various projects. And we're really grateful for that, because we imagine for a lot of people, they've got their own challenges too. And from Adopt a Child wise, things are going well and everybody's sticking with us, which is great.
Oh, that's good. So do you know about how many children are needing sponsoring just now?
Well, we always say around 3,000, don't we? And between Guatemala and Albania, there are always new children in need coming onto the programmes. And actually, during the pandemic, we've opened 2 new programmes in Albania. So we'll stick with 3,000. It's a nice round number. But yeah, there are many, many children coming to our programmes who are all being cared for and don't have a sponsor yet.
So plenty for everyone who's listening to be able to get a sponsor child.
Or 2, yeah.
Or 2, or more. Are people continuing with their sponsorship?
Yes, they are. By far, the majority of our sponsors that we had at the beginning of the year are still with us, and we're very grateful for that.
That's great. And have you had any new sponsors during 2020?
Well, we've had a few. It's been difficult. I won't pretend otherwise. We haven't been able to have our normal speaking events at churches and fundraisers and summer festivals, all the places where we would normally get new sponsors. but we have had one or two folks come back to us who used to sponsor, and some folks have just found us on the internet, and then others who have had a recommendation from a friend or family member have started to sponsor as well. And we've had one or two sponsors take on an extra one or a granny.
Oh, that's great. And that's a blessing for you, and it's a blessing for them as well, isn't it?
Yes, it works both ways, certainly does.
So how are things just now in Guatemala?
Guatemala, like the rest of Central America, was particularly badly hit with the coronavirus pandemic, and cases there are still high. However, having said that, our team were given special permission to visit our programs with food parcels and also to take medical supplies where needed to families. So throughout the pandemic, rather than the children coming to our feeding programs, our staff have been going from home to home, delivering groceries and gifts from their sponsors and medical aid. Now, they haven't been going into the houses to protect the health of the children and the vulnerable, but they have been delivering parcels throughout this time. The worst hit area was Guatemala City, where our Zone 5 programme is, but we're back in there now as well. So we can with confidence say that every child and family registered on our programmes, whether sponsored or not, are receiving food parcels at the moment. And we're very grateful to God for that the municipalities recognised the good work that our staff team were doing and have allowed them access to areas where travel wasn't allowed.
That's great news. They've made the absolute best they can of this terrible situation. And how are things in Albania?
Well, Albania wasn't so badly hit with the coronavirus pandemic. They locked down very early too. And although our hot food programs aren't allowed to operate, everything else is pretty much back to normal in Albania, albeit within COVID constrictions. So during the pandemic, our team have again, just like Guatemala, been delivering food parcels from home to home, but we've also opened 2 new programs and a new church. And we actually got a commendation from the local government and we're on TV because of the humanitarian aid being provided in Pogradets. So it was really good to get some sort of recognition in that way from the government that the work that our team is doing there is really making a difference to people.
Oh, that's very exciting, isn't it? To be on TV and to get that publicity in that way, good publicity. That's great. What sort of things would you like us to pray about most?
I think the same as everybody else would ask for at the moment, Dawn, is for health and protection for our staff teams in Guatemala and Albania, but also for the vulnerable people that we serve there, for the children and their families and the vulnerable adults on our M25 programme. Because although we're all facing this pandemic globally the same, they do not have the same access to financial support and medical care that we do here.
So if you could make one thing happen for Adopt a Child right now, what would it be?
Oh, well, that's a hard question. The end of the pandemic, I suppose, is the obvious answer, but putting that aside, I think it would be wonderful if our churches could reopen. I mean, our churches in Albania are open with social distancing, but for the folks in Guatemala, it would be wonderful if our churches were allowed to reopen. And also here in the UK and Ireland, because that's where we can go and tell people how good God is and share with them that God is very much alive and working in Guatemala and Albania, despite the pandemic. We have so much to be thankful for, and it would be wonderful to be able to worship God together and to share this good news with our supporters face to face, which is what we're all missing, isn't it?
Yeah, we're missing that very much too, and trying to navigate life around all these restrictions. But yeah, I think we're right with you there. the end of the pandemic and everything reopening again. Let's hope next year looks very different. So, where is your favourite place to visit, Janis? Guatemala or Albania?
Well, that's a trick question, isn't it? And I can't possibly answer that one because I have to be completely impartial. I have to be all for Guatemala and all for Albania. So let's just say that when this pandemic's over, I look forward to visiting both countries in the near future, I hope, and being able to take the love of all the people here out with me to the folk we work with and serve out there.
I think I knew that would be the answer. I was a bit mean with that one, wasn't I? Yeah, and we hope and pray that for you too, Janis, that you're able to go on these visits, and we are praying very much that that there will be much more for Adopt a Child after this. We're praying God's favour and blessing on the whole charity, for you girls in the office there, for Albania, for Guatemala, that God will really pour his blessings into Adopt a Child.
Thank you. Yeah, and if we can take one thing from this year, is that we know that God is faithful. It's not been an easy year for anybody, and charities and ministries as well. It's been tough, but we can show how faithful God is, and we know he will continue to be. And it's a privilege and a blessing to serve as part of this ministry and to be able to be the hands and feet of Jesus to the people who need it.
Oh, that's fantastic, and we are privileged to be able to play our small part in Adopt a Child. And I love the way that you do sort of envelop and encompass people into the charity with great love and enthusiasm as we play our small part in what you're doing. So thank you for that, and I'm really grateful that we've got to know you, and you are part of our family, and we just love what you do, and we just love supporting Adopt a Child. So just thank you so much, Janis, for taking the time out in your busy schedule to talk to us today.
It's been a pleasure. It's always good to speak to our supporters and team members, and hopefully it won't be too long until we can see each other face to face.
We hope so too. If anyone's watched this and you want to know more, or you want to have the joy of having your own sponsor child, please do visit the website. You can look us up on Facebook, and you can find the Enid Project supporting the special needs children on Facebook too. So thank you ever so much.